Welcome to Bridging the Gap, the Madison County Chamber of Commerce podcast, where Madison County's stories and businesses connect. I'm Sarah Pugh, the Executive Director of the Madison County Chamber of Commerce. Each episode spotlights the people, businesses, and nonprofits that make our community thrive while sharing the stories behind what they do. We're looking forward to learning more about their story and their connection to Madison County. Today I'm here with Dave Trask, longtime community member, small business owner, pillar of the community. Dave, thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate you asking me.
So excited to get to dive deep in some of the things here. So let's get started. Dave, for those who may not know you, who haven't met you yet, can you share a little bit about your background and your connection to Madison County?
Well, we moved here when I was 10 years old. My dad was looking for a place to put a jewelry store, so he found a spot that actually ended up being part of our Ben Franklin store about 20 years later on the southeast corner of the square, $35 a month for rent. And one thing I remember about that day when they were looking for a spot is my sister, Nancy, was 7 years old, and somehow or another she got lost. And some friendly people found her and took her over to Montross's and bought her a root beer. And when my parents, who were frantic, ended up calling the police department, and they knew that there was a lost little girl over at Montross's. So that was my introduction to the community, and a pretty memorable way to start out.
So you were a longtime owner to the local Ben Franklin here in Winterset. What did that business mean to you in the community?
Well, every town had a home-owned variety store back in those days. The store actually started in 1939, so it had been there 89 years by the time we closed out. It had been there about 40 years when we bought it in 1978, and that was 48 years ago, and it just seems like it was yesterday. Time really flies, but by the time we ended up closing the business, from those 78 Ben Franklin stores that were there when we opened the store, there were only 4 left. Mm-hmm. And by the time we closed, we were one of 2, and now there's just 1 open in the state. And it's because shopping patterns changed. The discount stores had a big impact, as did Dollar General and Dollar Tree and different stores like that. And as the small businesses closed around the state, then the supply lines started to get harder and harder to source merchandise. So it only made sense for us to go ahead and close instead of trying to keep the business open and find a new owner. Mm-hmm. But, the neat things about it were we had a lot of inexpensive toys. I hear from people all the time how their kids, grandkids, or even people that are adults now that used to come in and shop could come in and find something for $1 and have a lot of fun with that, something they always look forward to. And also, by being a home-owned business, we were free to make decisions and do whatever we thought was going to be best for the community. And just some examples of that would be how our sewing department evolved. When we first opened up, we had a full line of patterns, and most people were just sewing to make clothes. And eventually that went away, and quilting became popular, and we were able to transition into that and had quite an extensive quilting and craft shop by the time we were done. So it's nice to have that freedom to make those decisions.
Mm-hmm. You also carried some plants, some vegetables and things as the season allowed.
We had a lot of sidewalk space, and I'd had some experience with that because I started my career with Kmart, and they had a big garden department. And so we thought we'd try it. And I ordered a truckload of bedding plants that first spring. Had no idea how it was going to go. I had a local carpenter build some racks for them, and I thought, well, we'll take a chance. And that first truckload sold out in 3 days. And so we really knew we had something going. And, you have to know how to take care of them and keep them looking fresh and things, and that was always a big appeal. People told us that stuff always looked really fresh and nice, and so
Yeah.
that was very satisfying.
Yeah. You've seen Madison County evolve over the years. What are some of the biggest changes you've witnessed?
Well, I think we've developed into a tourism community. When we opened the store in '78, and even for the years prior to that, uh, the covered bridges were an attraction, but they weren't really a huge attraction. John Wayne was more of a trivia question than anything, and so just a normal county seat town. And over the years, we developed some things. The Covered Bridges movie was huge, which added a whole new wrinkle to the appeal of the Covered Bridges. The John Wayne Birthplace grew. We added the Quilt Museum. We've got a great historical society. It's just developed into a real attraction here, and that's a huge asset for a town this size.
Yeah. What has stayed the same about this community that makes it so special?
Well, I think the small town values that we have. We have an excellent school system. Uh, I've had a guy tell me one time he liked small town living because once he left work, he could be on a lake fishing in about 10 minutes. And so he liked that part of it. And if there's something you can't get in Winterset, Des Moines 30 minutes away, you've got an international airport there. So and we've got the best of all those worlds, and we don't have to live there. So that's a big advantage.
Yeah. What do you think makes Madison County a place people choose to stay and invest?
Well, pretty much those same reasons that I just gave you, I guess, on that. So
I think there's a charm too of like what you had said about your sister being lost. Like in this community, people help others and they're not just
exactly.
going to turn away.
In a larger city, you'd be
Mhm.
scared to death. So
Yeah. You have dedicated so much of your life to this community. Through being a small business owner, you serve on a lot of service organization boards. You invest your time and energy. What made you choose to stay here and do that?
well, our family was here. Is what brought us back, and the opportunity to buy the Ben Franklin store. We had thought about that for some time. And as it so happened, it was kind of an accident in a way. I was at a meeting in Des Moines with some other Ben Franklin store owners. We used to have what they called cluster meetings or regional meetings. And I overheard some people saying at lunch that the Ben Franklin store in Winterset, the owner was getting ready to retire and that store might be available. And that they were going to come down and visit with him about possibly buying it. So when lunch was over, I left the meeting and drove down here and struck a deal with the owner that afternoon that when he retired in a year, I would be his first choice as a buyer for his store, and it worked out quite well.
Mm-hmm. Why is it important to you to not just run a business, but be involved in service organizations?
Well, I think everything you put into the community comes back to you many times over, and we found that to be the case. And you know, my parents and my wife's parents were both very involved. They were business people and were involved in all kinds of community activities. So that was kind of the atmosphere I grew up in, and it just seemed like a normal thing to do. And I have to say, it's reaped dividends over the years.
Yeah. So I was trying to list all the projects and boards and things that you were a part of. Do you have a master list of that?
Well, Chamber of Commerce would be number one. I came back here in 1978, and by 1980, I was president of the chamber, and helped, along with many other people, helped to grow it into the organization that it is today. We hired the first executive director I believe, in 1984. And from that, we attracted a number of industries that are out there on North 10th Street today. Roseacre Farms was another one. And that was all through work through the Chamber of Commerce. And the John Wayne Birthplace kind of indirectly got started that way as well. So.
And you serve on the board for the Birthplace, or did?
Well, I've been on the chamber board for 18 years from back then, and then the Birthplace kind of was a separate story. But you ask about the other activities. I was in Lions Club, or I'm still in Lions Club, and the community band, John Wayne Birthplace. I'm on the board at Farmers and Merchants Bank, part of the American Legion, and I'm treasurer for the Iowa Military Veterans Band. So, and being involved in our church, so. Yeah, we stay pretty busy.
Yeah. You also, were you part of starting the flower baskets that went up around the square?
It was Jim Olson's idea. He was mayor at the time and asked me to help. So Jim and I and our wives, Judy and Pam, started that. And we started out with just some small baskets around the square, and then it got bigger and bigger. And we ended up doing that, watering that, ordering them, taking care of it, raising money for 15 years. And so I'm really thrilled that this year the Friends of Winterset Parks has taken that over, and that's going to continue long into the future. And they're expanding it back out to the full, off the square and everything else now. So it's going to be great. And appreciate their taking it over, and that's going to keep that going for a long time into the future now.
Quite a legacy. So how did you manage doing all the service organization stuff while running a small business at the same time?
Sometimes I didn't give enough attention to the business, I suppose, but I don't know, you just work it in and you stay active. You're involved in your kids' activities when they're small, and then as they grow up, and you get involved in other community work. So we were busy, but you've got time if you make time.
That's right. You've got time if you make time. I love that. When you look back on your career and involvement, what are you most proud of?
Well, I think getting the John Wayne Birthplace going was probably one that had the most lasting impact. It's brought a huge number of people to town, and they spend money while they're here. But there's been over 1 million visitors since that was founded. And I was involved in the start of that along with Pat and Nancy Corcoran and John Reed. The four of us pretty much, and Ken Walden is another one who's passed away some time ago, but he had some connections in Hollywood that really helped. And seeing that grow, and of course Brian Downs and Joe Zuxworth has taken that to a whole new level, and it wouldn't be where it is today without their involvement. So that's a lasting legacy, and we've got a wonderful building down there, beautiful statue of John Wayne. I think having the chamber here full-time is probably the only reason that we were able to get the movie to film here, The Bridges of Madison County, because I don't know how that ever we'd have pulled that off without a full-time chamber. We had a chamber director by the name of Sherry Ellis that was here for a couple of years that did a wonderful job of taking care of all their needs and organizing everything that needed to be done. And without that, I don't see how we would have ever attracted that movie. And that was a huge turning point in our history, because from that point on, I mean, the Birthplace had already been going for about 10 years by that time, but that just added to the traffic down there. They fed off of each other. And a few years ago, we added the Quilt Museum. So there's just a lot for people to do here. And I'm telling you, towns this size, if they don't have something like that, they're not looking very good. There's a lot of empty real estate in most of these towns. And we have a full downtown business district that's thriving. I hope it stays that way. Another thing I think that's been important is we haven't ruined all the architecture and the buildings around here. So many towns have tried to modernize their 1800 architecture with fake fronts and awnings and stuff that just messes them up. And we've stayed away from that for the most part. And so I think the charm of our downtown draws a lot of people. The flowers that we put up just beautifies it to another level. And so I think it's important for the town to, in the springtime, clean ourselves up and put our best foot forward and continue to appeal to all those visitors that we're now attracting.
Yeah. And now so many businesses are counting on them to continue to come
Oh,
to be
absolutely.
successful.
Yeah, I think it's important. We felt by the time we closed that probably a third of our business was coming from tourism.
Yeah. Yeah. What does leaving a legacy mean to you?
Well, I think it would be doing what you can to make a community better than the way you found it, and not necessarily expecting to get any credit for that. You know, I think you just do it because you see things that need to be done and that you can help with, and you go about it, and you don't really think about a legacy or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Have there been moments where you've seen the impact of your efforts come full circle?
Well, I think so, and I mentioned just a little bit ago that getting the chamber into a full-time situation, and then having the Bridges movie come and be a successful thing was a huge turning point for Madison County in general. And so without that, I don't think those things would have happened. And so
Yeah.
that would be about as full circle as you can get, I think. So
Yeah. So, how can the younger generation carry forward that sense of community involvement?
well, I think it starts by being active in your children's activities when you're young. Get involved in little league, softball, whatever it is. Be a coach, be an umpire, support the teams, and other activities that young adults participate in. And then as you grow older and remain in town, get involved in the service clubs. They're always doing activities, and not only that, but it creates a network of friends um, that you can bounce ideas off of, and just good things happen from that. So you just have to join in and take part in the activities that are here.
What excites you about the future of Madison County?
Well, I think having that tourism attraction, as long as we can keep our downtown businesses filled up and viable, and then other growth is going to occur on the outskirts, of course. But I think having that to fall back on for a town this size is a huge asset, and I think that's going to carry us forward for years to come.
Yeah. What do you hope continues or grows? You mentioned tourism. Are there any other projects or things that you hope continues even after you fully retire and step back and pass the baton to someone else?
I think we're involved in a project right now with the proposal of the new field house. Is just another good example of things that are going to add to the quality of life here. And so it's projects like that make a town what it is, and add to the activities that you can be part of. And so we're on the right track. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. If you could sum up Madison County in a phrase, what would it be?
Well, I heard this phrase a long time ago, I guess, by somebody else, and it kind of pertained to Winterset, but Madison County as a whole was America's hometown.
Mm.
You're kind of the hometown that everybody remembers when they were growing up, and we've kind of been able to maintain that atmosphere here over the years, and it's been a huge asset for us.
Yeah. What would you want people to remember about the importance of community?
Well, they need to remember that we're all in this together. And, so anything they can do to be a part of it, to improve on anything is important. And I'd encourage people to follow up on their ideas and do what they can to make it a better place.
Love that. Make it a better place. Anything else you'd like to add today, Dave?
Well, I think I've probably failed to mention at the beginning the importance of my wife, Judy, and I working together on these
Yes.
things. I first saw her when she was in 7th grade. We were in 7th grade, and she went to school in Peru, and the country kids would come in for summer band. So she was playing saxophone in 7th grade. I was back playing the drums. And so the funny thing is, today, and still in the same town, we were high school classmates, of course. And so we're still playing in the band, in the community band, and she's playing her saxophone. And I'm back in the drum section, and I still look across the band and see her face over there. And it's, we just haven't gone very far from where we started out, I guess. But she was a huge part of everything that we've done.
Yes.
And so
I love that about the two of you. Wherever I saw one, I always saw the other. You were truly supportive of everything that you guys were both doing. So.
We complimented each other in the business. She was good at the things I wasn't, and vice versa. So
yeah,
it was pretty good match.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate all you've done for our community and continue to do, and the mark that you've left in so many different ways. And I can't wait to see where other people step up and kind of take on some of the roles you've had so that you can fully retire and enjoy your time. But thank you so much for being here, Dave.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Bridging the Gap, the Madison County Chamber of Commerce podcast, where Madison County's stories and businesses connect. We hope today's conversation gave you a deeper look at the people and passion behind our local community. To learn more about today's guest, visit their website, and for more chamber events, membership, or resources, visit www.madisoncounty.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, and join us next time as we continue bridging the gap across Madison County.